Hey guys, it's Kris Jones for episode 12 of Ask Me Anything. Today I thought I would go outside of the typical Q&A and we would have a quick conversation together. I have a question for you. Are you willing to take on a challenge with me? I'll take on that same challenge. If you are, what I'd like you to do is just get out a piece of paper and we're going to go through a little bit of an exercise, and over the next, I guess we're here in February, over the next 10 months or so, we're going to hold ourselves accountable to what the exercise we're going through. So give you guys a second, go ahead and do that. So what I want to chat with you guys about today is setting goals. But I'm really good at setting goals because it's something that I've studied and it's something that I've done for a long period of time, most of my life, to get really extraordinary results. It really does start when we think about, is there something that you want in your life? Is there something that that's been really bothering you, whether it be a desire to lose weight, achieve a certain financial goal, career change, prioritizing things in your life that you're not prioritizing, stopping being a procrastinator? The list could go on, but in your head right now as I'm speaking, jot down just a couple of things. This is not super formal. We're going to do this together. But jot down a couple of the things that you'd like to have. One thing I will tell you about goal setting, and you've probably heard this before, but we're going to actually do it together. So get ready to think about it within the framework that I'm going to share with you. What I have found, and research has found, is that the more specific that you could be with your goals, the more likely you are to achieve them. So here's what we're going to do together. The goals that we're going to set right now are going to expire on December 31st, 2017. That means that everybody who's participating, and I want you guys, as you set your goals, to go ahead and share some of them, because I'm going to share with you what my goals are. I'm going to open up the kimono here with you guys. That's a big deal. There are going to be some personal ones too, and I want you to get personal too. Go ahead and in the comments section, share with me some of the things that you are going to accomplish by December 31st of this year. And by the way, I'm going to give you some tips, some secret sauce on how you're going to go about actually making sure that you accomplish those. But so just jot down a couple of those things. So again, research says that being specific, having a date, and anything around sort of anything quantifiable, but ultimately what we want to be able to do is have something that draws us to a result that we could say we either achieved it or we didn't achieve it. But that's not the secret. That's part of the secret. Your goals need to be specific. And by the way, if you don't know if they're specific, go ahead and type them into the comments and I'll give you some feedback. I will work with you to make them specific so that you achieve them. But here you go. Here is the real way of accomplishing your goals. Your goals need to be driven by a why. And that why you want that, why you want to achieve that, needs to be as compelling, emotional, visceral as possible. Just use the weight example again. I want to lose 25 pounds because I'll feel better. Bad goal. How about this one? I want to lose 25 pounds by December 31st because I don't want to die, because I want to set an example for my children, because I want to make everybody that loves me know that I have everything within me to lose the 25 pounds. I want to lose the 25 pounds because I want to reduce my cholesterol by 15% and I want to reduce my body fat by 25%. So get specific. And the why needs to drive you. It needs to be something that is visceral, meaning physiological jarring, that really makes you want to wake up in the morning and get to the gym. It can't be ambiguous. It can't be, because I just want to feel better. F that. It's got to drive you. So the why is one of the secrets to my success. You know, I've mentioned this before. You know, I had a mom that when I was a teenager came down with a terminal illness. I was 14 years old. And, you know, really over the last, I lost my mom in December, so just about 60 days ago. My mom was my superpower. My mom was the person that everything almost that I did, I wanted to make proud. And by the way, if you have a loved one in your life or the most important person in your life, start doing stuff for them, not for you. You'll be blown away by two things. Number one, the motivation you get from that. And then number two, the impact it has on them. Some people, and my mom went on to live for, 20 some years after her first diagnosis, which is extraordinary. But, in the same way that I've been able to achieve so many things in my life because of her example and because I was trying to make her proud, I actually think she probably lived a couple extra years. And because of my success, I was able to buy her a ranch home and a lot of other things. But the point here, guys, is to don't screw yourself over and don't screw me over, if you will, in terms of this challenge. Because you're challenging me, I'm challenging you. Make your whys as strong as they possibly can, and then make them stronger, and then make them stronger. Make sure that it's something that's going to move you. I actually just had a meeting with a gentleman in the last day or two where we were talking about motivation and goal setting, and he started off by saying, Kris, I used to be 100 pounds heavier. And I looked at him and I said, then you have the blueprint, my friend, on how to set goals. Because I didn't even have to ask him what his why was. But let's just put it this way, it was strong enough for him to achieve his goal. You need to set goals that are specific, but then wrap around it really why it is that you want to accomplish it. And if you guys are confused by that, please reach out to me. Please post in the comments. Let's have a good dialogue here. So, all right, so you jotted down a couple of the things that you'd like to accomplish. We have a deadline, December 31st this year, which, by the way, gives us a ton of time. We better set some kick-ass goals, which is my final thing before I share with you some of the goals I jotted down. Goals are not, I repeat, not to be easily achieved. Easily achieved goals are non-inspirational. They're non-motivating. They ain't going to have much of an impact on the world or the people around you. And when push comes to shove, guess what life's about? It's about the impact we have on our community, our loved ones, and other people. So we're about to set goals that are not easy to achieve, but are actually what I call uncomfortable goals. One of the keys to success, one of the secrets to my success is that I do not set goals that are easy to achieve. In fact, one of the tests I use, and it's gotten harder to kind of make people feel this way about me now, but especially early in my career, was I set goals that people would look at and be like, oh, you ain't accomplishing that. Listen, part of the reason why I like to set what I call uncomfortable goals is that even if you achieve half or 3/4 of the goal, which, by the way, we're going to achieve our goals, but you'll achieve a hell of a lot more than you did if you had a puny goal. So we don't turn it off, stop watching if you want to set a puny goal. Don't be setting puny goals. So you want to set goals that are reach goals, what Jim Collins calls big, hairy, audacious goals. Goals that are going to move a mountain, if you will, and that are going to really inspire you, well, are going to give you an opportunity to put a lot of why around why you must achieve the goal. One final thing is, we don't achieve all of our goals. We don't beat ourselves up around here. That's it. We just don't. It's about you taking that first step. It's about holding yourself accountable. It's about you realizing one other thing, which I'll share with you, which is one of the key sort of things and realizations in my life that helped me become a better goal setter. Tony Robbins says that we're all human, right? 99% of people give up right when they're at the finish line. They don't know they're at the finish line because that all of the effort and all of the hard work leading up to the finish line seemed so intense and so overwhelming that we tend to give up right before you hit the finish line. The example I use is, do you ever go to a gym and as soon as you start sweating, what you do is you go, whew, that was a good workout? Well, guess what? Science tells us that it's once you start sweating that the workout begins, not before it. So you want to play in that 1%. The 1% are the people who don't quit right before they hit the finish line. That's where we're going to play here, right? That's where I've been playing for the last 15, 20 years of my career. I might have more experience than some of my fellow friendly entrepreneurs out there that want to have more success, financial freedom, more stuff, more contribution, whatever. So I might have that on a lot of you guys in terms of, but I don't have some of the raw stuff that we all have. We all have the ability, we all have the personal power to make these decisions. In the moment of decision, your destiny is shaped. We have the ability to set specific goals. We have the ability to give our bodies this overwhelming sense of we must have this goal. So my point is that I'm not like, I might have a superpower in my mom, but my mom's no longer with me. And I'll tell you, I've never been more motivated in my life. I've never been more motivated to honor that same desire that I had when I was a teenager, to make her proud, and quite honestly, to make my kids proud, to make my wife proud, to honestly contribute and impact my world in whatever way I can. So you still have your piece of papers out, no puny goals. Let's go. Here are my 4 goals. Now, because we don't have all the time in the world, and we could always revisit this in a future Ask Me Anything, I'm going to tell you what my goals are, and I'll give you a little bit of color, but I promise you that I actually will go through an entire exercise here to make sure that I do everything I can to set myself up for success with these goals. So here are my 4 goals. By December 31st of this year, I will generate 250,000 total installs of a new project I'm working on called Special Guest App. It'll be very clear come December 31st whether or not I'm able to achieve that goal or not. And I could reverse engineer it. We're going to launch this thing next month, so it means I'm going to have about 9 months. So, you do the math, you're looking at about, 20, 25,000 installs a month. I got a lot of work to do. That's going to be a lot of hard work, a lot of promotion, a lot of everything. And why do I want that? The reason I want 250,000 installs of that particular project is, number one, I want to serve my investors. I am absolutely inspired to return capital, to return more money than people invest in me. And I have investors for this project, some notable people I'll be sharing with you guys in the coming weeks. But I am driven by that to serve my investors and to return their capital. And I think 250,000 installs in the first year of the project will set me towards that course of delivering value to them. There's a lot of other reasons. I'm particularly interested in keeping my kids in private school, which all 3 of them are in, Wyoming Seminary and Appletree. And I got a lot of work to do. I got to execute these business strategies because I want my kids to be proud of me, and I want to be able to afford them the types of opportunities that maybe I didn't have as a kid, but that they deserve because they're bright kids, very talented. And there's a number of other reasons, but that's just a couple of my whys. I will generate 250,000 total installs of Special Guest App. 2, I will have an average weight of 180 pounds come December 31st. I will weigh myself at the end of each month and share it with you guys if you want, but I will write it down. And at the end, I will have an average of 180. Let me tell you why 180. So right now I weigh, I had recently lost some weight, went on a low-carb diet, and I've been working out a lot. I have found from experience that when I'm around sort of 178 to 180, I get a ton of compliments. People are like, wow, you look great. And by the way, it makes me feel good. I get a ton of compliments. People tend to compliment. They notice my physique, among other things. And hey, man, I'm as human as the person right next to you. Nothing is warmer and fuzzier than a sincere compliment. And I know when I'm around that, I think that's my body type really kind of feels best there. I also know that in order for me to be under that or around that weight, that I'm taking care of myself. I mean, I'm getting older. I need to be there for my kids. I had a goal when my 8-year-old was born, and I was kind of chugging around the yard when he started crawling around, that Daddy would never get outmatched. by his kids, or at least I'll do everything I can not to. So when the kids say on a Saturday afternoon I'm laying on a couch, hey, Daddy, let's go shoot some basketballs, I want to go out there and play with them. So there's a lot of reasons. Again, I'm not going to walk you guys through all of them, and this is a personal exercise, but I could tell you there's my why for why I want to maintain my weight and my physique has a lot to do with health. It has a lot to do with energy and a ton of things that mean the world to me. So let's see if I could accomplish that goal come December 31st. Ready for this next one? Guys, make sure you have your pen and pad out, because I'll tell you one thing that changed my life. About 4 years ago, I was wondering why my wife, my extraordinary, talented, gorgeous wife, who is an unbelievable mom, why she wasn't loving me in certain ways. And I won't go into the details of it, but she was doing nothing wrong. If you want to get more love from the people closest to you, you give more love. Again, you want more love, you want a more romantic relationship, you want a more intimate relationship with your significant other, you give. Don't define how you get. And I could tell you that 4 years ago when I made my wife number one, meaning that her interests and her priorities and my insistence on showering her with love, when I did that, my relationship with my wife changed. And again, from an intimacy, from a just a relationship standpoint, it's been pretty awesome. And I need to remind myself, because what happens is a couple years go by and you start to get lazy. And I don't want to be lazy, so that's why I'm going to set a goal. So here's the goal, guys. Hopefully some guys watching will join me on this goal. I will deliver one spontaneous I love you just because per month for my wife. Examples will be, and by the way, I'll hold myself accountable every month. Random flowers. Guys, if you buy flowers on occasions only, bad idea. They expect them on those occasions. You've got to learn how to do these things spontaneously and just buy them because you love them. And you want them to conclude like, why did I deserve this or whatever? And the reason is because you love them, man. That's the reason why you do it. So guys, you've got to be spontaneous. You've got to give love. You want more love? I figured it out. You give more. Stop trying to get your loved ones in your life to love you in a certain way. You love them unconditionally and with abundance, and your life will change. My level of happiness went up tremendously. So these last two goals are around my wife because sometimes when you listen to someone who's talking about goal setting, it's usually about material things. My good buddy Mike Jones, who is the CEO of Pepper Jam, said to me once, early in our career, although we've been friends for 20 plus years, he said, Kris, at the end of the day, it's all about experiences. And you know what? In terms of happiness and true wealth, he's right. So anyway, the one spontaneous I love you just because per month for Robin, my why is easy, because I want my wife to feel unconditionally loved and to never question that. To never question that she has somebody in her life that loves her unconditionally no matter what happens. And so, and that's enough for me to accomplish that goal. Finally, so this is our 10-year wedding anniversary, my wife and I. And we were going to plan a trip to Bora Bora, but our friends, Dr. Jeff Kyle and Karen Kyle, invited us, which we're so excited about, to a co-family trip to St. Thomas. And we're leaving for St. Thomas in a couple weeks, but that kind of threw a little bit of a ratchet into our Bora Bora. So it looks like Bora Bora is going to be number 15. But listen, it's our 10-year anniversary, so what are we going to do? I need a goal for that, and I need to achieve that goal, because we ain't looking back next year and saying we didn't do anything special for our 10-year anniversary alone, just the two of us. So my fourth and final goal for this episode is we are going to take a trip to the Napa Valley, Robin and I, to celebrate our 10th wedding anniversary. That's going to be a very easy one for me to either say I achieved or not. And keep in mind, guys, when I say that, your goals should be big, hairy, and audacious, and they should be uncomfortable, they should drive you to action. They should be quantifiable so that once you accomplish them, your life kind of moves in a forward direction as a result. You don't have to cure some crazy debilitating disease. It's about progress. And so in conclusion, listen, if you have been taking notes during this episode, you're in trouble. Because if you took notes, what you're going to do when I turn this camera off is you're going to, around the goals, put as many whys as you possibly can and make sure it's as emotional as possible. You're making a super big commitment. Your time is super important, is super precious. This is not going to be one of those, for instances, where you didn't accomplish what you set to accomplish because you gave up. That's the other 95%. That's sort of everybody who's average. You and I, we're not average. We're going to go into that 1%. We're going to go above and beyond to achieve our goals and our dreams. But remember, with goals, they don't have to be, they should make you feel uncomfortable because you're going to need to take action. They shouldn't be puny. But put one or two in there that are things that maybe weren't on your initial list, but are things that matter to you, whether they be an experience. Make a commitment to do an experience with someone that you love or alone. Take that trip that you've always wanted to take. Reach out to an old friend and say that, hey, I'm coming to Washington, D.C. to visit you, whatever it might be. A goal is a goal. It's sort of like one of those things where you either accomplish it or you don't. Goal setting has been one of the secrets to the success that I've had in my career. It's something I take very, very, very serious, and it's something I have a lot of fun with. I love looking back, after, a goal sort of hits its, December 31st or its limit, and kind of celebrating. Goals are to be celebrated once achieved. And they're also, the nice thing about setting endpoints is that you get to set new goals. And you won't achieve all of them. But together, I'm here to help you. I've got, whatever the math is, 88 of these left. A lot of them are going to be around motivation and inspiration and how-to and A to Z and all of those things. I will be here with you to support you. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Make sure you complete your goals. Make sure those goals are written down, and make sure that you make commitments to achieve them by December 31st, just like I did. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you in the next episode.